Father, who is known as father of diabetology, a very unique kind of person. நம்ம தமிழ்நாடுக்கு தான் அந்த ஒரு history இருக்கு. நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா in a place like Stanley Medical College, he had the foresight to think about this disease. He has written so many things about Mr. Banting and Bose. Actually, quite a lot in Tamil Nadu. We deserve, we really need to acknowledge the contribution of his father and their distinguished children. So I really am privileged to get this opportunity to use this. தமிழ்நாடுல உலகத்துல நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா ரொம்ப ஒரு சேலஞ்சிங்கான இருக்கிற சிச்சுவேஷன் என்னன்னாக்கா ஒரு காலத்துல when we were young we were only thinking of living once in a while ஏதோ சளி காய்ச்சல் வரும் அதுக்கு ஒரு SM டேப்லெட் சல்ஃபாமிதாக்சோல் அந்த டேப்லெட் சாப்பிடுவோம் 2 நாள் லீவ் எடுப்போம் அப்படிங்கிற நிலை மாதிரி இல்ல தடுப்பூசி போட்டுட்டு இருந்தோம் whatever was available. That time also diabetes, BP and all that, but of late things have changed. Every day, even yesterday I found that West Nile fever, somebody passed away in Trichure. Then earlier we found Shigella. Everything, public scare idea. First I would like to assure you that when people, doctors like this are here, we need to be very safe. For quite some time we have been able to conquer any challenge which is thrown to us by this microorganism, or more importantly by non-communicable diseases. எப்பவுமே சொல்றேன் ரெண்டு கண்கள் ஒன்று தாய் சேய் நிலம் ஒன்று டிசீசஸ் இன்னொன்று அந்த டிசீசஸ்க்குள்ள அகைன் 2 more eyes communicable and non-communicable and between both of them vaccine preventable and dose vision. And the non-communicable diseases we are making that grave blunder of ignoring. இங்கே நான் பார்க்கும்போது the kind of deaths which take place in non-communicable we just ignore. Somebody dies, not many people know that suicide la 50 பேர் ஒரு நாளைக்கு இறக்குறாங்க. ஆனா மார்ச் 17ஆம் தேதியிலிருந்து ஒரு இறப்பு இல்லாத கோவிட் தான் கேப்சர் பண்றது பப்ளிக்கோட இமேஜினேஷன். இப்போவும் ஒரு பக்கத்துல கல்லூரியில இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகுது. ஏன்னா அப்படி because that's a pandemic. But so many people are suffering out of diabetes, and he has touched a very topical subject of type 1 diabetes, like individual experiences. That is what this book has captured. I always have been interacting with our fellow doctors and all. COVID has brought that to the fore that public wants to know. முதல்ல பப்ளிக் நம்ம இதான் கரெக்ட்னு சொன்னா இல்ல, அவங்க கேட்கறாங்க புரியணும்னு சொன்னாங்க. பத்திரிகை தொலைக்காட்சி துறையும் புட்டு அதை வைக்கிறாங்க பத்திரிகையாளர்கள் இருக்கும்போது. They want us to know who is the best person to speak. Not many people would have noticed that whenever I am given the duty to address the media, many a times I always say I am quoting from what public health experts say. As a secretary, I can have a view, but that is not important.
So I'm very blessed that for this evening function, so many of my classmates have come, my walking friends are all here, Madras Club members are here. The other person who is common is Ravi from the Hindu, and Shankar was here, and Dr. Rai and Mrs. Rai Snehata, they were all there for the last function as well. I never thought that 1 year exactly after that last book is published, we'll be publishing 2 more. So the first thing people ask me, when is your next book coming? I said, oh God, we haven't even released this one, so give it a chance. But passion for writing has always been there. In fact, I wanted to be a writer. That comes out in my autobiography. It's my father who actually told me you can do medical writing as well. He kind of tempted me at that time, and that's how I came to medicine. Much has been told about the 100th year of insulin, and sir, it's not 2 years without insulin. 2 years is a dream. It's few weeks, 2 months on an average. 1 year and 2 years, these children lived only if they were starved. So they went into the Allen starvation diet. They'll be pushed there and given nothing to eat. Some vegetables, maybe a piece of chicken occasionally. The total calories is 300-400 calories per day. They wasted away, worse than any cancer, worse than any TB or both of them put together, until they died. And only if they starved. And that too they got only few months of their life. And the interesting story about Elizabeth Hughes, who when her father stood for the election, presidential election, and lost to Woodrow Wilson, and then he became the Secretary of State, and he heard that some fellow in Toronto had discovered something, and then his wife goes and tells her husband, why can't you, because their 11-year-old daughter was almost dying due to type 1 diabetes. They said, why can't you go and tell the president, he's your friend, go and tell him and send her to Toronto or get the insulin from there if there's something like this. And he says no. He says it's breaking ethics. Just because I am in power, how can I use it for my child? There are a lot of others waiting. Then his wife tells him, so you want Elizabeth to die? No. So whole night he sits and thinks about it. Should I let Elizabeth die and become an ethical person? Or for the sake of my daughter, I put in a word to the President of US to influence and get influence from my child. And what happened was his wife tells him, if you don't tell the President, I'm going to take her to Toronto. So